I'm delighted to say we can welcome into the studio now Boris Becker, six-time Grand Slam champion and of course coach to Novak Djokovic, the world number one. How are you?
I am well. I'm as hot as you. It's been
oh, I wouldn't go that far.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well you're definitely right.
Boris, you look like you've lost some weight. Have you lost some weight?
Well, all the stress on a tennis court these days and the traveling, no, but obviously Novak's diet is very healthy. And I would be a complete fool if I'm not take a little bit of his advice or some of my eating habits that I used to have. So I'm better now.
Fantastic. Nice. And how happy are you with your charge at the moment and how he's playing?
I couldn't get better at the moment. You know, the first week, it's got 2 matches now. When the draw was made last week, Kohlschreiber was a tough one. He was the first player that was not seeded. And would have Ferrer would have he cancelled earlier, he would have been the last seeded, so it could not been any tougher. But Novak handled it well. He had a good start in the first set, second set. He started to settle in, and once you get the first match on grass under your belt, the first round of Wimbledon, all the nerves settle, and you know you start to remember there was actually a place I won the year before. So today was a little easier. Having said that, Nieminen played a hell of a match. I mean, it was his last match. He gave everything he had.
Right.
And thank God he didn't finish the way he started by hitting those 4-4 winners and breaking Novak's serve. But again, Novak is a champion. He finds a way back and won the match in straight sets.
What do you? His movement on grass, he's always sort of in the past slipping a little bit here. But is he not doing that this year? It seems like he's moving better. Or
yeah, maybe because of the weather.
Right.
I think it's altogether dry.
Yeah.
It hasn't been raining at all, and I think it's easier for most players to get your footing and your positioning on the court. It's true, Novak in the past, especially the first couple of matches, he was slipping and sliding. That didn't happen yet, and I think as the tournament goes on, the court will be drier and drier. By the second week, we won't see much of the green anyway.
Yeah. Is it something you guys talk about? Because his movement is so different from everybody else because he's so close to the baseline, he's so flexible, and on clay and on grass there is a chance of a bad bounce. So is there something where he needs to move a little further away from the baseline, or does he do different movement drills, or does he just move the same way?
No, I mean the biggest change, as you know better than most, from clay to grass, it couldn't be more difficult.
Right.
On the clay you have more time, the bounce is higher. And you tend to play a bit further from the baseline at some point. Obviously on grass you can't do that because you would lose the point. So the first days you really want to focus on the movement of staying low as long as possible. Try to avoid the sliding because that's what you do on clay. You shouldn't really do it on grass because you can't stop anymore.
Right.
So the first days is to get the timing of the movement and where to hit the ball and when to hit the ball. And that's the most difficult thing.
Yeah, we've got some footage of you with Novak last year, actually, because you've been with him over a year now. How has your relationship developed? Because I know you've kind of grown together as a partnership, and you must have learned things yourself along the way.
Well, absolutely. You know, it always going to take a few tournaments to really get used to one another, and then you have moments like this when everything comes together, and you know you win Wimbledon together. And the thing is, he's really surrounded by a team. I'm part of a team. I do my job. But you see Gebhard Grich, you see Milan Manovic on the picture, and everybody has a very important part of it. Mine is obviously the experience I've had in Grand Slam matches, maybe the state of mind I have on tennis matches, or especially on pressure points. That's something I was looking for. And now 18 months down the road, I think it's a very healthy relationship. It's a very successful, and you know we keep on going.
And this is from earlier this morning as well, and he seems to be pretty relaxed at the moment. I mean, how have you been able to pick him up
He's only coming down
and bring him sort of into good spirits again after the disappointment of what happened in Paris?
Not easy, not easy. You know, for a player of Novak's caliber who wins so much, every loss is a drama, especially if it happens at the French Open final. Maybe you should actually talk to him a little bit about that one. You won 3.
Yeah.
But last year was similar. He lost to Nadal in the final, had a week less to recover, and then he came here frustrated. But then it's our job, you know, his team, to pick him up, to find the right words, to find the motivation, to find the inspiration. And thank God with tennis, you have another slam coming soon. I think if you're in track and field or the Olympics, you have to wait 2 or 4 years.
Right.
But it's not easy. That's you know, it's part of my job to find a way to get over that.
You said, sorry,
No, go on, you go ahead.
you said something interesting to me in Australia about Novak's serve, that you didn't think that he was using his serve as much as he could. What, I mean, can you explain to the viewers what you meant by that? Is it, because people tend to think, oh, he's not hitting as many aces, therefore it's not a good serve, but that has nothing to do with it.
No, you're already talking to one of the best counter punchers probably of all time, and one of the best baseliners. So you give him a decent serve, it's very difficult to beat him.
Right.
But a decent serve, I mean a high first percentage. It means placement, where you serve, a 30 lob, a 30 all, a 30-40, which angle to use, and then what you're going to do with the return once it's coming back. So I think that he's working a lot on that.
Yeah.
And you know, it goes well.
His serve is a serious weapon though these days, I find.
You compare it to John Isner
No.
and to some of the big servers,
No, but
Raonic.
For a baseliner.
But for baseline, I think that's the next level he took.
Yeah.
Maybe the last year is that making his serve a weapon, making his serve reliable. You know, produce good serves under pressure. No, he's not going to serve 25 aces all of a sudden, but he's going to have a high first serve percentage, 60-65% I'd like to see. And now and then he serves an ace as well. And also the second serve is important. You know, don't be afraid to hit it. You know, vary it with a spin, slice onto the body. So there are many things you should work on as a server, and I think he's doing that.
I know
Great.
we've got some shots of him closing out the match earlier today, and as we said, he certainly looked in terrific form out there, and as I said, quite sort of almost relaxed, isn't he, at the moment, Novak? We also had him in his press conference, and he seems to be in a good place, actually.
Well, he should be in a good place. He's the #1 player. He's the Wimbledon champion. He's happily married. He's got a newborn son. I mean, difficult not to be in a good place.
Yeah.
But he's a perfectionist. He wants to get better. He's driven. He's never 100% happy, and that's why he's still so good. But you know, when he's not playing tennis, he has a good sense of humor. He likes to have a good laugh, and he appreciates his friends around him. So he's in a good spot.
Yeah. And as you said, Boris, one of the reasons you're in the team is actually to help him cope with pressurised situations. And he's come back here as the defending champion, and everyone knows how difficult that is to try to defend the title, which of course you did. You're 17-year-old, you won it, and came back the following year and won it as an 18-year-old. So what is the mindset in terms of going in there?
Well, it's the most difficult thing to go back to a Grand Slam as the defending champion. On the other hand, it's an honor. And you've won the tournament last year, so you should be 1 foot taller than everybody else. But that's easier said than done. Yeah, there are ways about it. You know, it's all, you know, trying to put everything in perspective. The reasons why you want to play tennis in the first place, the reason why you want to defend the title, the reason why you want to stay as #1. I mean, there are a number of reasons why, you know, he's playing tennis. And you know, bottom line, he's hungry. He wants to win more, and then it's easier for the coach.
Yeah,
I have to ask, sorry, I have to ask. I mean, that is most probably the greatest feat in men's professional tennis in the Open era. The fact that you won as a 17-year-old, that's crazy, and then you win the following year. What was wrong with you back
What was
then,
wrong
Boris?
with me?
Yeah, what was wrong with you, Boris? What made
Yeah.
you believe that the first year wasn't a fluke when you're 17 years old, and then you come back, and really the second year, we were all like, no, he's going to win it again.
Yeah.
He's going to win it again. Look at him.
Difficult. Obviously, I didn't win another slam in the meantime, and I didn't win that many tournaments in the meantime.
Right.
I was good. I had my finals. I had a couple. You know, I was there, but and then everybody was looking at every movement. When is he going to crack?
Yeah.
So you really have to go to your own core, your own soul. Really,
Yeah.
you got to do some soul searching about what are the reasons you like the game anyway. And in a coping with pressure is all relative, because the most pressure you usually put on yourself.
Right.
You know, other people don't walk in your shoes. You know, you got to make your own decisions. Why you want to get up and what time you want to go to sleep, and it's a maturing process of overcoming that. And you know, pressure is a big word, but it's all relative to, you know, other pressures people have.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
we tennis players are sometimes mistaken of what real pressure is in life.
Yeah. In your day, you played Queen's as a warm-up event. You won it 4 times, didn't you? Why are so many players in the modern game not playing lead-up events on the grass courts coming in, and Novak being one of them? Is he just not more comfortable just not playing one and using the earlier rounds to kind of gain his momentum?
Well, everybody has a different approach. You know, you got players that are really natural on grass and you know, practice a day or two. Novak is not one of them. He needs to practice a week. He needs to get a couple exhibition matches in, and you know, I would compare him to Borg. Borg never had a warm-up grass court tournament. He went from Paris and to Wimbledon and actually won it 5 or 6 times. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he needed his week, 10-day, 2-week preparation to get the mobility, to get the timing, to get the mindset. You know, these guys, you know, the difference is often mentally, how they approach the big matches. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. It needs a lot of preparation and you know, needs a special mindset to do so. And for Novak, you know, he already has so many matches this year, he doesn't need match practice.
No.
He's played 35, 37 matches this
Yeah.
year, so he's matched up. What he needs is the right preparation for the individual surfaces.
Yeah. Even listening to you, Boris, it sounds like you are so passionate about the role. You're enjoying it.
I love it. It's what I do best. I have it in my DNA, and I'm happy to be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the memories of you two playing each other? You played each other about 10 times,
please
didn't you?
don't bring that
Oh,
up.
we're not allowed to bring it up.
No, we don't have any good. I don't have any good memory.
don't have
Actually,
good
I have one
memories.
You
good
have.
memory.
Come on, you have.
Yeah, I had a good memory
Yeah.
in 1980, 85 at the second round of the French Open.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Let's
it.
move on.
That's it. That's all I have.
That's it.
No, and then I have a
What
good
are you-
memory. I
no.
beat you in doubles in the Davis Cup finals in doubles with Joachim Nyström, and you play with Andreas Maurer. But there's so many matches where he's beaten me so badly
Okay. So
on pretty fast
3-7.
indoor courts in
Yeah.
Germany. You were one of those great Davis Cup players because you love that pressure and you love playing for your country.
Yeah.
And you love playing on ice.
In those days, it was allowed. Yes,
Yeah. In those days, it was
yeah.
pretty quick.
But coming from you, how many times you won a Davis Cup?
No, we won it a few times.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
And
we
how
won
many
it.
Grand Slams did you win? Not bad either.
Yeah.
So what you have
Yeah,
6, 7?
I have 7.
7. There you go.
Seven.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
I'm in very good
memories,
company here.
Boris was one of those great, because you are 3 years younger than me, and he was actually one of the great young players that would actually ask a question here and
Yes,
there.
yes.
Andre Agassi did that too. He
Yes.
would come up and say, and I don't know, you don't think you remember it, but Andre Agassi would come up and say, "Hey, Mats, what do you?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wow, that's pretty." And I know you were very curious when you came on the professional scene. I thought.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know we had a little bit of a connection through a certain Swedish reporter, a newspaper reporter.
right,
So,
that's
yeah,
right, yeah,
Yeah, so,
yeah.
but you were very curious, and you seemed to just embrace the whole thing, and still do.
Yeah, no, I I was taught by my parents and obviously by Tyriak and the Bosch, to ask the people who are a bit older than you, who know just a bit better. Don't think you know everything at 15 or 17 or 19. And I took that to heart, and I benefited a lot being surrounded by older players and older people, and I wanted to get better, and so I asked.
And do you think there's a slight lack of that in the modern game? Because obviously there's way more money in the game now. Some of the youngsters are very powerful, and there's a lot of hiring and firing that's maybe a little bit too quick in terms of the test. What do you think, Boris?
Coaches.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money for these teenagers who didn't win yet that much. That can confuse your mindset, mentality, your approach to it. But who wouldn't take it? I mean, if it's offered to you at 17, at 18, and 19, and who's going to say no?
Yes.
So you can't really criticize. It's just
No.
part of a system.
Yeah, it's
but
just
that
different.
means they already have maybe a little bit more than they deserve.
Yes.
Now, where's the motivation coming from? The hunger. It shouldn't be money, otherwise the top guys wouldn't play anymore. But when you're 18 and 19, I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
I agree.
So what's the afternoon hold for you now? Well, it's actually almost evening. I know last year you had a few barbecues.
Yeah,
Boris. Are you still doing barbecues here in
Well,
Wimbledon?
my wife actually is on Henman Hill or Murray Mount, how you want to call this.
Oh, really?
She with her friends there and had a few
Okay.
pimps, hopefully
Yeah.
not too many. I was just in the house. I spent some time with my 5-year-old,
Yeah.
but now I have to watch some of the other matches.
Yes.
Make sure the practice
have a
partners are
notebook?
fine for tomorrow.
Taking notes?
Yeah, I observe a lot. It's part of it.
Not
You
writing.
have to.
No, he hardly went to school. He won Wimbledon at 17 years old. Yeah. No, but you put it in the back of your head.
I
the
put it in
notes.
my
Yeah,
head,
you don't
yeah.
take.
No,
for sure.
Oh, fantastic. And I
Yes,
must
so
wish
fun.
you the best of luck with your book as well. How's
Thank
that
you.
going?
Very well. Boris Becker's Wimbledon.
Yes,
My
yes.
30-year
Give it a plug.
journey.
Nice.
I came through these doors for the first time winning it, 30 years ago. So next week, Tuesday, it's the 7th of July.
Yes.
Everybody's
30
asking me already, what are you going
Yeah.
to do? I said, I'm going to be on the practice court helping my player.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm going to do. But yeah, I thought it was interesting for me and hopefully for many others. What happened in those 30 years in tennis,
Yeah.
how we played and how they're playing now.
Yeah.
What happened in the world? 1985, we had no internet, no mobile phones. Our matches were televised already color, but it just we played with white tennis balls. Remember that?
You
in
play white
85?
tennis balls in the beginning, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
So all these things are, I thought are important sometimes to memorize and let everybody know.
Yes, well, it's a beautiful book. It's
No,
a
no, but I
beautiful
mean,
coffee
because
table book.
his experience in Wimbledon is so special compared to other players, I think.
Yeah, it
because
really
you
is.
really were the first really great German player. You were different, you looked different, you played differently, you were diving at 17
Yeah.
years old, and we had just lost Björn Borg.
Yeah.
So that means that Borg McEnroe was over. And then now they're looking, well, they weren't looking to me, but they were looking like, who is it? And then you come. And really,
Yeah.
it just went from Borg to McEnroe a little bit, but not really, not Lendl, not me, to you straight away. So I think buy that book.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
fabulous book. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Boris.
you.
It's always
Thanks,
a
Boris.
pleasure, and we really wish you, Novak, and the team the very best of luck over
Thank
the
you
next
very
few
much.
weeks.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thanks, Boris.
Hope to see you.